I'm with you, and I'm very happy to be with you. Do you hear me?
Yeah, wonderful, great.
Hello, it's great being with you, especially after this great session, hearing such a great metaphors, opening the space.
Okay, so first, again, we would ask you for 1 or 2 turning points in your life, career, that brought you to your current identity and role where you are in either of the many roles that you're taking on, just in a couple of minutes before we dive into the more professional side. Yeah.
You see, Marita, after this session, when I'm saying actually opening the space, it's like a dreaming. So, Marita, if I need to describe it in just a few words, it would be, I really persist keeping the space for dreaming. And why is that? And if I need to choose some bold turning points that set my journey, first would be the time when I dreamt to become a ballerina. And I applied at that time myself for an audition when I was, I think, in a 5th class of a grammar school. And I applied for the audition and I passed. And every day I would travel by train from Domžale to Ljubljana by myself for trainings. And the trainings were demanding, but I have enjoyed it because every day I was closer to my dream to come true. And this equipped me as a person for being more self-confident, to persist, and not to give up, strengthen my organizational skills. At the end, I did not become a ballerina, but this process, which I have enjoyed, equipped me for a life. That was one turning point. And another turning point for me would be when I had a dream to earn my own money when I was still in a high school. And I needed some money for graduation trip. And I applied for a job. And I obviously being rejected a few times. But I wanted to work because I needed the money. And the plan was to stay for 2 months, but I have stayed at McDonald's at that time as a student for 6 years, where I grew personally and career-wise with new responsibilities. That experience actually opened my diapason of possibilities if I am willing to learn and making sense to what I am doing. 2 turning points. From there, actually, I had some more career steps. One of them was IBM opening the space for me in international environment. And furthermore, I was really privileged, or I was very happy to have a chance being part of cabinet of a Prime Minister of Republic of Slovenia. Today, I am in Pivovara Laško Union, which I am saying is the best company being able to connect people also with beer. So maybe just to conclude, right, turning back, I would say crucial for shaping my path were 3 things. My parents, who were not making decisions instead of me, but being always there for me. Second would be that creating my space for dreaming and being proactive to go for it. And the third thing would be enjoying that the traversed path, not only being goal focused, but because these experiences going through are priceless and can equip you for life.
Thank you. And you are also very known in the larger community, not only where you work, and not only in your role as the president of the young generation of manager, but yeah, practically wherever you are, that you keep expanding that narrative that is quite present in the corporate world. You know that the focus is on profit, but you are expanding it to the 4 Ps, like profit, prosperity, planet, and of course, purpose. So what are you finding that works or useful, or, how are you even approaching that? Is it more of a push, like, you people, you need to change, otherwise humanity is gonna get extinct, or maybe all other species before that? Or is it a more of a pull approach? What can we learn from your rich experience about changing narratives on a larger scale?
It was a very interesting discussion we had previously when preparing for today's conversation, actually. And one of the things you asked me, and I was really thinking a lot on that, why my focus from competition to focus on collaboration and partnership, right? Mm-hmm. And first of all, when I was starting to think, I thought I'm not competitive at all. But I was wrong. I am. And after years questioning myself, I can say it is nothing wrong being competitive. I will tell you why. Actually, there is one but. More than being or not being competitive, it is the question, what is the purpose of it? Honestly, questioning myself about it, I realized that I was, and I still am competitive to myself most of the time. I do ask myself all the time how I can improve, how I can do things better, how can I better contribute to my family, to my team, environments I'm part of. And when saying but to being competitive, I have realized that when collaborating and nurturing partnerships, it's much more effective, faster, also fun to achieve the results and become better and better. And now you actually ask for peace, which I really do love and I really do believe in. Saying that it's not just a profit, it's profit with the purpose. And for peace, meaning people first, profit, people first, planet, prosperity or profit, and purpose. We as a managers, we do lead teams, companies. We do play crucial role when defining the direction of the organizations, helping with the employees' development and the way how we will achieve the set goals. And considering this, it is important when developing new products, either services or making decisions, is to keep asking ourselves why we are doing that. What is the purpose? Whom do we serve? And whatever we do, we cannot do it without people and not having our planet. So they should be, or they must be, the first to think of. And it is not saying no to profit, to be clear. It is important as well, but not just. So sustainable leadership is considering 3 equal dimensions, also when defining success, meaning social, environmental, and economical. When one missing, success becomes questionable.
Yes, thank you. I'm noticing as I was talking to you, I already expanded the profit to prosperity, and then I got a little bit mixed up. So it's actually people, purpose, planet, and then profit.
It's actually, I would put it in order, people first, that's for sure. Then goes planet, and then it goes prosperity or profit, and it goes purpose.
Okay, and back to my question. So from my conversation in you, I'm really inspired by your passion, and I'm imagining that, for a lot of people, this is a rather new concept. So, how do you go about it in your personal life or in your professional communities? How do you invite in more people, not only those who are in the bubble and are already thinking along these 4 Ps, but maybe those that are on the edges and you would love to invite them into as well? What are some of the ways, tips that you can share?
Sure. You ask me, is it a pull or push approach, right?
For example, yeah, or both, or yeah.
So it's not one or another. Actually, it's a combination of both. It's a balance. I do push when seeing that motivation or argumentation is needed to move further. But I do pull back anytime if realizing my decision was wrong. What drives me when deciding either push or pull approach is actually the concept do not harm, whatever you do. And maybe to give it in more, what does it mean? How do I approach? I mean, 4 Ps for me are really the concept and considering it all the time, because 4P or sustainable leadership, again, is putting people first, planet and profit, with purpose in the heart of the organization, whatever the organization is doing, right? And this, the value chain is based on 3 things. It is collaboration and partnership, it is inclusiveness and diversity, and it's the third thing, it's integrity and transparency. And again, it's a balance, push or pull. But when having this value chain, when knowing the concept and asking, having the answers on why are we doing things and having in mind do not harm, then we know we are on the right path.
And do you have maybe a concrete example how these partnerships and collaborations come into life? So maybe from COVID time, how did you get organized, perhaps within Lashko or so? We heard there were a lot of challenges on many levels.
Oh yeah, they were and they still is. You know, as you know, we all know we are actually running the marathon. We are not running the sprint. Yeah, there are no easy times. When on asking for the metaphors, I would add one. It is carousel of let's say uncertainty, but also opportunities. But nevertheless, back to your question, there is one example I would really like to share. It's a great example, but it's also very concrete. But also I'm truly proud of, because it is not my project. It is actually what we as a people we can create. So when COVID situation started back in March, there were hubs filled to be prepared for this year harvest, and because the farmers are depending on foreign workforce, mainly coming from Romania. And at that time, it was a complete lockdown. There was no workforce to help. And as you know, hops and breweries, you know, we are absolutely connected. And it was really a question, what will happen? We will have no harvest this year. It was really a big question about that. It was a very simple question to the employees of Pivovarna Lashko Union, what we should do, because we are partners. And when we asked if anybody is ready to help, you know, it was incredible, fast response of people that they are willing to help. So we went on the fields. There was more than 40 of employees of Pivovarna Lashko Union. And when we started as a snowball, sports people, because Pivovarna Lashko Union is a big sponsor and support of a sport of athletes, Slovenian athletes, actually came to us and said they want to be part of it. So at the end, we went on the fields, more than 100 people helping 6 farms. And it was really crucial that this year's harvest is here. We didn't stop at that time. We had the opportunity also to be back on the field to help to conclude what we have started. So when saying about partnerships, it's not always goals, KPIs, profit. It is the purpose why you are doing that. And at that time, of course, solidarity is part of it. But partnership works, or the real partner is recognized when hard situations are coming. And this was really a great example how this can work.
Thank you. One last question from my side, and it's a little bit complex. And good morning, that's a word we live in right now. As we are shifting metaphors and finding new ways towards preferred futures, I will later be showing in the simple model in a couple of minutes. One of the things that is asked to change as well, or expand, I would say, is also the metrics that we are using for measuring success. You know, like especially in the corporate world, for so long, it's been more of these tangible things, and particularly money, the financial aspect as a key measurement of success. And as we are expanding these narratives to people, prosperity, planet, purpose, what new, perhaps less tangible or differently measured measures of success and growth are you perhaps as young generations of managers thinking about and could share with us as inspiration?
Actually, it's not that hard, to be very honest. Of course, talking about that, it's harder to do it. But I would just remind you, us all, what have been said today. When saying for peace, sustainable leadership, people, planet, profit, purpose. This is what should be the frame. Value chain, if we go further, collaboration and partnership, inclusiveness and diversity, integrity and transparency. The third thing would be, when defining contribution areas, consider those where you as an organization, you as a leader, or you as an individual can impact and do most. And the fourth thing would be, sustainable goals should be set in everything we do, since that is the right measurement, because this is the right measurement of success. And not to forget that there are three dimensions, not only one, which we are used to as a profit. There are three dimensions which are equal, and these are social dimension, environmental dimension, and economical dimension. When one is missing, we cannot say this is a success. And to go further, of course, to each of these areas, we could and we should set the KPIs, because then we can really see if we are improving, if we are approaching the goals, or maybe the strategy we have set up should be changed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and do you have any examples? Like, you know, is it maybe in terms of more sustainable environmental sustainability, even our Confluence, you know, now we are using much less carbon footprint, for example. This is one of the basic one. Or maybe the number of different stakeholders that join your Fields Hops initiative, how to help the farmers and the entire ecosystem of producing beer, you know, like, yeah, what might be some concrete measurements?
Let me share what I have actually shared, like a theory, right, on the example of Pivovarna Laška Union, because I'm coming from this company. As said, we actually prioritize what are the areas we as a company can impact the most. And when having this brainstorming, which was actually not done just by ourselves, but in cooperation with NGOs, with faculties, with government representatives, and so on. It was a process of a few years, to be very honest. But to summarize, based on those brainstormings and conversations, there are 6 areas we as Pivovarna Laška Union, as part of Heineken Corporation, so it is valid for the whole corporation, we are focused on. The first one is the area of safety first. So safety and health. This is the first area. The second area is responsible consumption. We are producer of the beer, but you know, responsible consumption is the focus area we need to be focused on. The third one is drop the C, which means how to cut, reduce the CO2 emissions, because we do contribute to CO2 emissions. The fourth one is every drop. How to decrease the usage of water, how to optimize. The fifth one is so-called growing with the communities. And those focus areas are really the areas we deep dive and set up the KPIs for each. We have so-called dashboard. We put the results in, and we do follow and measure how successful we are. Based on that, we can actually turn our ship into the one or another direction and correct to go to the goals. Goals are very much ambitious. Right now, we are in the period where we are reshaping our strategy, and I'm happy to see how we will reshape it and what will come out, and how we can actually, as a company, improve.
Yeah, thank you so much for breaking this down into something that is, you know, operational and tangible. We love big visions and we need ways how to get there. So these were excellent examples. And before we go into a break in a couple of minutes, I would give, again, space if there is one burning question here from this audience, or also the audience online, which Ina will be monitoring. At first, it's easier to connect here. Is there any question that would be super alive for Tanja, who is with us from Pivovarna Laško Union? Okay. Anything coming down there in the chat?
Yes, in here we have an interesting question. I'll share it, Sonia, because I think it's very interesting. You know, all the talk about, we all know we need to change the way we're doing things. And there's a difference between how we used to manage companies and how we're managing today. And there's still leadership from all ages present. Would you say there are differences, and what are those differences in approaching this now? Because we all need to figure it out together. It's not just going to be the young figuring it out, or the old not being there in a way we would like them to be, or however. So kind of your view on this intergenerational learning within coping.
You know, I'm still clarified as a young manager, which is great. I'll keep on going. But yes, actually, it's not about, you know, young generation will solve it and we should wait what will happen. But why we are actually putting so much, not just focus, effort and everything on the young generation, let me share actually two things which are certain. First thing is that millennials and upcoming post-millennial generation have no choice but to face the realities of climate change and the need for sustainable solutions. Because they will be there, they will face it, we do face it, but they will be still there to solve it. So there will be no other choice than solve it, right? And the second thing is that which is certain, is that thanks to the social media, these generations have the ability to connect and mobilize on a mass level. Why I'm saying that is to be understood correctly, it's not about it is responsibility of young generations, but they are more aware of it because they are born into this world and it is happening to them right now. But we do, let's say the older ones, also as leaders and managers, the responsibility to help and to play the role right now. We should think of it now and support it already now. So young managers in, for example, Managers Association of Slovenia, which I do have the opportunity now to lead, we do see our mission and responsibility to be the first ambassadors of sustainable leadership, supporting and nurturing sustainable solutions, and also providing conditions within our companies and our employees can work, and also partnership for it. And maybe there are three very interesting data we have, just to have the context, you know, that why young people are thinking differently or how they are thinking differently. There is 40, based on the research, there is 40% of millennials that think that the goal of business should be to improve the society. 87% believes that success should be measured by more than just financial performance. And 70% are more likely to choose a company with a strong sustainability agenda. You know, with these generations, profit with purpose is actually set to become the new norm. And we who are a little bit less young, it is our responsibility to realize that, support that, and start doing it now.
Thank you, Tanja, for guiding us into the future also with this image of what is coming, both in the young generation and in the challenges and opportunities in the context where they are going to work and live.